that A, gets you the best people into schools in the first place, and then B, make sure that everyone has the opportunity to develop properly and fully and continue to reflect on their practice, get better all the time, and that if you put those two things together and then you try and oversee things properly. And I think there's another interesting point there when you've got a group of heads working together, so head here will be working with other heads, sharing ideas and thoughts. Again, all of us become better at our job of leading as well, that you put those ingredients together, you've got an ongoing basis of a really sort of rich, stimulating professional environment that's going to provide the best possible education for young people. So anyway, you invited me to give a bit of
I just wonder whether Mrs. Desborough wants to add anything about sort of how you get the continuity flowing from one school to the other with least disruption.
I was going to say, if obviously this proposal went ahead and we went to the two-tier system, it does therefore mean that the children in Gamlingay First School, obviously would become a primary school, would not be interrupted in their mid-key stage, which is key to ensure that continuity of provision and their curriculum, and therefore with the strong partnership that we would then foster with Comberton Academy Trust would mean that we can then work together to ensure that transition is smooth from 6 to 7 as well, which, you know, any transition point is known to be a point where there could be a dip in a child's educational standards, but actually working so closely together, we will ensure that there is a smooth transition as possible, which is extremely exciting.
Okay. So if I could ask a question. So when I used to teach at GBC, it was a very easy transition from the first school to GBC because you know, the kids knew it, they walked past it every day, so it was very familiar to them. So what opportunities will there be for Comberton to be familiar to children so that it's not a huge leap and a huge disruption moving from year 6 to year 7?
Okay, it's a good question. It's why being a catchment school matters, because you can work very closely on an ongoing basis, obviously with catchment schools, and also put on programmes as appropriate. Now, there's a whole range of activities, days, and processes in place specifically around the transition itself to make sure that works well, that all the youngsters are properly familiarised, spend time in the secondary school before they reach secondary school age in year 6. But actually, we're keen to make sure that it's more than that, so we would run activities together with staff from local primary schools, for example, for science days, where youngsters, and that isn't just year 6, might go down to 5, 4, even younger than that, might come in for a whole day with some of the primary school staff and work with the specialist science staff to have a whole day working in the science labs, looking at an aspect of science together, which hopefully is educationally interesting and relevant, but also, of course, it's getting the children themselves used to, well, this is a bigger school where I might come in due course and might sit my lessons in this lab with these teachers who don't seem too terrible after all. And that, so numbers of those, we have quite a lot of sporting related events of those, that sort. We have quite a lot of arts related, dance, shares and events, for example, musical events of various sorts like that. And also then that there are specialist secondary staff who might go out to primaries, work at primaries. We've got a very developed programme, Modern Foreign Languages, for example, where a languages teacher will come out and work alongside staff in primary school and look at programmes of study for modern foreign languages. But of course the children in that are also meeting foreign languages teacher who would then in due course be teaching foreign languages when they got to secondary school. So it's all that area of working which, at least indirectly, but quite powerfully indirectly, is getting the children used to that transition so that it isn't a big issue that it might be.
Right, time for one more question. Yes, we'll take 2.
So does that mean that the link between the first school and the village college will be severed? Because at the moment the first school do use facilities at the village college. So is that planned to end altogether?
I don't see why.
As Bridget said, I've already met the head of the village college. We have spoke about the fact that despite the consultation process going on, we are forging a relationship that is about the children in Gamlingay and the education of the children in Gamlingay. That's both of our primary concerns, and therefore we will work together in order to ensure that all the children of Gamlingay have the best education possible, and depending on how the proposal goes will mean that there might be another institution which we work alongside.
And the last question before we wind
I
up.
was reading the letter as we came in, and it mentions on there about science labs and everything else. This was the letter given from outside the gates.
Oh, right.
It mentions about science and all the science labs and everything like that. Can we actually clarify whether we actually need them in Key Stage 2 or not?
We don't need them. You don't need them in Key Stage 2. If you go to primary schools across Cambridgeshire, we're the only first school. All other schools in Cambridgeshire are under the two-tier system of primary fed into a secondary school, and you don't need that provision in order to deliver the Key Stage 2 curriculum. And we believe we can deliver the Key Stage 2 curriculum very well here with these facilities that are existing, but would be further enhanced with the provision that is offered by Comberton Academy Trust when they get to Year 7, but also in advance of that by working together.
Thank you. Right, we'll wind up now. Thank you very much to all three of you. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming, and thank you for your very helpful questions. The FAQ will continue to be updated, and if you've got any other questions, if you continue to write in to the government, I'm sure they will address it. Thank you very much.